All right, so I am back inside the bedroom closet. So I'll wait and see if you guys were able to rejoin and come on back inside the closet. I'm here and I'll give you guys a few minutes and we'll get our subject started. So thank you for coming back. If you are coming back inside the closet, you know I had some technical difficulties. I'm not really sure what was going on, so hopefully I won't. I got the message again. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know what that message is that I'm getting. So I'm going to try to get through the live before anything else happens. As I mentioned, we're going to talk about prostate awareness for you or maybe a loved one in your family. This is something that's a topic for the month of September. And we've been talking a lot about, different things. So this is definitely something I wanted to cover this month, and it may be something that you can use or share with someone. Also, I'm going to answer a question relative to maybe a prostate problem or maybe an erectile problem, but it was a question that was sent to me, and they wanted me to ask it on the next time I do a live. So I hope that they're listening, and I told them that I would cover the question tonight and it would help them and someone else. So I do appreciate when you guys send me questions that you want me to cover. But as I mentioned, we're going to talk about prostate awareness and give everybody time enough to come inside the closet and just share some information with one another and maybe get your viewpoint on the topic that we're going to cover at the end as far as the Q&A. So I appreciate you coming in, and greetings to you from Florida. Florida is one of my favorite places. I've got a friend that's in Florida now, but I plan on trying to get to Panama City Beach maybe before the end of the year. That's my favorite part. Been to Orlando quite a few times when I went to Universal Studios for where I worked. So I had to go there a few times. But yeah, so hello and come on inside the bedroom closet, guys. As always, I try to give you about 15 minutes of education and conversation, and then another 15, 30 minutes of Q&A. If you have any questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. Got my notes as always because I don't trust my brain all day long. I do have other things on my mind, so I like to take my notes to make sure. Thank you for the rose. Like to take my notes to make sure that I cover everything that I want to cover as far as importance on the topic. And then if there's anything that you guys have as far as questions, I'll answer those for you. So yeah. But when talking about prostate awareness, you want to make sure that everything down there below is working for as long as you possibly can. And it really, everything has to do with your diet. I mean, that's the first thing that you want to check whenever your libido is out of whack, whenever you're having problems with erectile function. Maybe if you're having problems with urinating where it's not coming out in a fast stream like it normally would. It may be, coming out a little bit slower or trickling out, things of that nature let you know that you may be having some situations going on down there. And it comes with age, and sometimes it comes before age. It just depends on the person's diet. You want to make sure that there's no blood in your semen. That's a sign that something's going on with your prostate. Pains in your joints and bone pain. That could be a sign that you're having an unhealthy prostate. As I mentioned, when you're having erectile function, your pelvic floor could be dropping, and that's significantly important. When you are younger, of course, you don't have that focus, but when you get up in age, you want to make sure that your pelvic floor is tight. And as I mentioned, Kegels is important for women, but they're also important for men, and keeping your pelvic floor tight is what allows you to continue to have that healthy erection. And not only your pelvic floor, you have to have good blood flow. And that's why I say your diet goes back to everything when you're talking about anything that has to do with your sexual organs, because you have to have a healthy blood flow for your sexual organs to work for you, women as well as men. But we're talking about the guys tonight, and that healthy blood flow starts with making sure that you focus on exterior habits as well as the interior foods that you put inside your body. Exterior habits like alcohol, and that's a restrictor of blood flow. And that also helps in the unhealthy prostate in the future. So you may want to focus on the type of alcohol that you intake, whether it's beer or wine or hard liquor like the browns and the whites, your vodka, your gin, your Hennessy, your what else is brown? Your cognacs, your stuff like that, and I'm not really a drinker, so I'm not really familiar with a lot of that, but you want to make sure that your alcohol intake, you focus on that. When you're younger, you may be able to drink and have sex, and it may not get up for you, because if you're intoxicated, that blood flow is restricted. It's slowed down with that alcohol, and it may not allow you to get that erection. So healthy blood flow is important when you're thinking about drinking alcohol, as well as smoking. Whether you're smoking cigarettes or you're smoking weed or you're smoking something. Well, if you're smoking, smoking is a restrictor of blood as well. And when you restrict your blood flow, you're restricting your erections, because you need a healthy blood flow in order to get it up. That deep dorsal vein that's right underneath the penis. If the penis is like this, you got that deep dorsal vein that comes from your testes, and all that's got to be healthy. And that's part of making sure that you get a prostate check. And when do you get it checked? You get it checked about 45, 50 years old. You want to make sure that you get it checked. And it's a couple of ways that you can do it. They do have the blood test, for some people, but it's not as accurate as the rectal exam. And that with the rectal exam, some people are apprehensive about that because, inside the anus, men as well as women, we have that A spot, maybe about 1.5 inches or 2 inches right inside the anus. You're able to have an orgasm, and you're able to excite an erection when you go up in that area. And some men may not be ready for that reaction, because they may not have had that area touched before. But the doctor is an expert. It's not like he's up there messing around. He can pretty much tell what's going on with the exam itself. So it's something that you want to get checked, and those are a couple of ways that you can get it checked. Now, without the prostate, you would have to have another way to urinate, because that's all connected up in the prostate area. So if you did not have a prostate, and like I said, when you have problems with urination and blood and semen and things like that, and your prostate is not healthy, you have to find another way to do that. And that's usually with the bag or something like that, the coloscopy bag. You can, have that. But you want to make sure that you try to keep it as healthy as possible in order for you to have that erection for as long as possible. So, it starts with good health. Focusing on the external things that we like to enjoy, as well as the internal things that we like to consume as far as food. What type of food do you think may be bad for you? When you're focusing on your prostate, red meat. Some people take red meat out of their diets earlier, in life, because it may weigh them down. But you want to take the red meat out of your diet. the processed meats, like your lunch meat, your hot dogs, things like that. That's not good for you. Got a little list here that I wrote down so I wouldn't forget a few things. So the food that you want to start focusing on consuming, and we'll get back to the ones that you want to take out of your diet, is the foods that are low in saturated fat and a lot of sugars. So you want to take those type of foods and put those in your diet. So you want to eat the lower ones in saturated fat and simple sugar, not the high fructose sugar and things of that nature. You want to eat foods high in fiber, so that would make sure that your diet has a high fiber diet, which is good for you, and it helps retain your weight, as you get older, and you start to get that little belly area there. And when you start focusing on your diet, that helps reduce the belly area. Then, of course, when you reduce your belly area, that makes your penis bigger and longer, because the lower your belly fat, the more your penis is at its natural length. So just like you were able to see it, when you were a teenager, belly flat or whatever, you can, have that same experience when you start eating better foods. You want to eat a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables. And I have clients that are high juicers, and that is really good for you. If you like to juice, and you like to juice with your kale and your green beans and your any green is really good for your diet. So, and if you're a juicer, that makes it even better. Anything green, juice, spinach, so you want to make sure that you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, but especially vegetables that are high in magnesium. And spinach is one of those vegetables that's high in magnesium. And why is magnesium important? Magnesium is important for blood flow. And what do you need for an erection? Blood flow. So they say the more spinach you eat, the better for your diet. So that's definitely a benefit for you. So you want to do that. And for some reason, as you get older, and some people don't like tomatoes, but adding tomato sauce and things of that nature with a tomato base is good for your diet, because it's got the lycopene. Lycopene in it, which is extremely good for your blood flow. So everything is about making sure that your blood flows and that you have the healthy prostate, so that your sexual appetite can last as long as possible. Like they say, the longer you have sex, the better, and the longer you live, So we'll get into some more facts in reference to that. Now, another thing I wanted to mention is green tea. And you want to sometimes try to diet green tea. It's got no sugar in it, and that's good for you. And then it's got that green tea additive in it, which is also good for your bones and your immune system. Now, you want to focus on things that has soybean in it. Pomegranate juice is great, because pomegranate juice is considered one of the superfruits. And the superfruits and those things that are high in omega-3 fatty acids are extremely good for you. So focusing on your diet and what you put in your diet and things that you want to take out of your diet is important when you're thinking about your prostate health. Now, another thing you want to take out of your diet is dairy. Yeah, dairy's not very good for you. The older you get, I know some people become a little lactose, but then it also messes with your prostate health. You want to focus on low sodium, milk and things of that nature, in order to remove that diet content from the milk. And if you want to remove any type of yogurt, and think about the dairy that you may have, and you want to focus on a different type of additive, even if it's in your coffee, because that will not assist you with your prostate health. Now, also, as I mentioned, if you don't have good prostate health, that could minimize the erections that you get, even in your 40s and later 40s, maybe, and 50s, just based on your diet. So once you get your prostate checked and everything is healthy and good, in order to focus on it continuing to be healthy and good, then that's the time that you want to definitely change your diet. If you have some of those processed foods, and you eat a lot of and sometimes people can't get the home cooking. I understand. We have to think about the crock pot. I may be a little bit older, and people put stuff in the air fryer. That's good too. But if you're working and you got a crock pot, you can put some chicken. You put anything in a crock pot, and add a little vegetable to it on the side and a little salad or something. So you have to have a different mindset. And when you focus on having a different mindset and your diet is different, then your lifestyle becomes different. You'll see that you'll have more energy in order to do more things. And you need energy to have sex. Sex is energy in itself. Exercise in itself. But you have to also focus on your exercise too, so that your joints and things like that can stay healthy. Now, transition into our question for the night, right? So I had a person reach me, and then I'll get to your comments in just a few minutes, because I do want you to chime in and let me know what you think. Had someone contact me, and I told her that I was going to talk about prostate health today, and she contacted me because she's in a new relationship. New as far as being in the relationship about 6 months. Because of the distance for the first 3 months. And it was only maybe, I think she said maybe a 2-hour distance. They decided to move closer to one another. Now that they've moved closer to one another, they waited another 3 months or so before they decided to have sex. Now, this is a new relationship. Things have changed where they've moved in closer proximity to one another, where they are able to be in physical contact with one another, and they want to have sex. And of course, feelings have been surfaced over the 6 months, where the love word may have been thrown around without even knowing about the sexual health of the relationship, and discussing how important that is going forward. Well, now that they've decided to have sex, and the couple is in their, I would say, late 40s, mid 50s, for the female, and for the male, maybe 50, mid 50s. So, with that age bracket being stated, he is having problems with erectile function. Now, I don't like to call it erectile dysfunction, because it's not a dysfunction. You can fix it, So I like to call it erectile function. It's not functioning the way that you want it to, and becoming erect when you want it to. So that to me tells me you're having a it's not functioning. So he wasn't able to perform the first go round, and it became uncomfortable because the dopamine had been, surging, and everything had been going on as far as conversation, like I said, for the first 3 months, then the next 3 months, and now he couldn't perform. Well, that leaves her sexually dissatisfied, because he didn't try to use these or this, right? So maybe because that he may have felt a certain type of way, and because he couldn't proceed because it didn't, get up to standard, then he may have felt a certain type of way and didn't want to try anything else. But she felt a certain type of way that he didn't want to finish the act and try to do something else. Well, she wanted to know if anything medically could be going on, the reason why he couldn't perform. And I did explain to her that, sometimes, like I said, your diet, your health is important based on your diet. She have gotten to know him personally these next 3 months, and they have gotten to where feelings have come into play. He may have been over anxious. Maybe he was a premature guy, and he may have finished before he even got it out of his pants. Things like that happen as well. But she said it wasn't able to perform. So the question is, if you're in a new relationship, do you try to work with the person to fix the problem because you have caught feelings, or because you're in a new relationship, do you think it's okay to kind of bow out because it's not meeting your sexual satisfaction goals? Well, with that being said, as far as the question that was proposed to me, it's two ways to answer that. Because of his age, it could be medical, could be a diet issue, it could be something that's worked out if you care about the person enough. Now, like I told her, with it being 6 months in a relationship, I don't understand how you talked about or talked around sex, but you didn't talk about the health of the sex. Now, I will say that it is his responsibility to say, there may be some situations going on, with me sexually. I may not have been in a sexual relationship for a while to know that it was a concern. I think that we may go forward in that direction, but it's some things that got to be checked out. Now, that's his responsibility to say that, because you don't know what's going on in his pants, right? But now that you've caught feelings and you like the person that he is and you want to be around the person that he is, it's up to you to know if you can discuss sexual satisfaction in other ways until you get the matter checked into, and let him know you'll be right there with him if he wants to check into getting it fixed. Now, if he didn't initiate or talk about oral or anything like that in conversations that you guys had, what type of conversations were you having? Because I believe that that's a conversation that you have to talk about, just like you have to talk about finances when you move into situations together. You have to talk about responsibilities and boundaries and the roles that you want to play. So you have to talk about your sexual health. And if you were getting all hot and heavy, what were you talking about? I don't understand where your conversations go. Instead of talking directly about what you expect out of sex, you're going to get the roundabout. You're going to get the conversations about it. You're going to get those dopamine conversations that get you all heated up over the phone. Those conversations will take place. They may ask you what you like, and you may not be at that point where you're looking to say specifically what you like, but you do have to have those conversations. Now, I'll say that if you've been in a relationship with someone for years, or you've been with them and things happen and erectile function may go awry, then I can say, yeah, you've been with them for years. You know that this is, you've had sex for years, but this is something that's happened because of health. Yes, stick with the person because this is a person that you've known for years. If this is someone that you've just known for 6 months, but in 3 months you've got so attached to each other that you had to move to the same state together. Now that you're in the same state together, I don't know if you live together or not. I don't even know if we discuss that more so than moving to the same state. But at that same token, either one of you guys are in a foreign place. And what, you're going to move back and uproot your life because sex isn't good, because that's not something that you talked about? Well, yes, I do find that the gentleman was responsible at this point to tell you if he knew that it wasn't working. He knows, and they all know. So it's not something that you should ask, is it working? You just probably assume that it is because of the sexual content and conversations that you've had. But if you don't have conversations about sex and what the other person expects. After you get together, it could be a different story. It could be about, they could have fantasies of threesomes. They could want to swing. They could want to be pegged. They could want to have a variety of things in their diet that they're seeking to satisfy their appetite. Their diet could be totally different from yours. You may love oral sex and they may not even like it at all. And is that a deal breaker? Because the person could be a wonderful person. Yes, because your sexual satisfaction will lead you to get what it is that you want. We're carnal creatures. We want what we want. We want our desires met and fed. There's some things that you can say that you've not acted upon or done because you may not have been with a person that wanted to do it, and ask yourself, is that an X? Because your satisfaction and your sexual appetite wasn't being met. Was that an X? Because other things seem bigger because that wasn't being met? Possibly. So I see a lot of people coming inside the closet. I want to take a minute to say hello to everybody and see if you guys have any questions based on the topic. You can chime in and let me know what you think. I am a former medical professional. I understand. Thank you so much for that. My late father died in 2007 with lung cancer. So I was there, and you understand the struggle. So your health is extremely important. And Maya Angelou vibes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Are you Maya? Nope, not Maya. Enlarged prostate. That happens. I had a gentleman friend who has prostate cancer as we speak. Very, very, very close gentleman friend of mine. And we stopped becoming acquainted with one another when he found out that he had prostate cancer because it took him for a loop. And he didn't know what to expect. And he didn't want to hinder whatever friendship he thought that we were acquiring because, he wanted to go through it alone. But you definitely, and we're still friends to this day. I didn't stop being his friend because he had prostate cancer. And I tried to be for him as much, I tried to be there for him as much as he would allow me to be, because you have to understand that that's something that person has to deal with. The cancer word alone is frightening, and when you have a problem with your prostate and you're in your 50s or your 60s and you're still in your prime of your life where your sexual organs can work for you as long as you allow them to work for you, then you have to understand that person has to deal with it in their own way. But you definitely have to be there for them. I have a prostate, but I don't get... What the heck? That's a joke. I get it. Let's see. Am I 70? No, I'm not quite 70. Spinach and kale greens is definitely good for you. Green tea, good job for drinking good tea, green tea. And if you like it, you may want to try the less sugar green tea. And then that way you can remove that sugar from your diet, and you'll see that you'll have even more energy than what the sugar gives you, because the sugar can weigh you down at one time. I don't answer the comments from people that like to just troll the different TikToks, because people are here for education, and that's what I'm here for. So if you have some bad comments, I usually just scroll past those. Yes, I am able to talk one-on-one. I do have a website, InsideMyBedroomCloset.com, or you can always reach me at inside my bedroom closet at gmail.com. So either way, you can always message me, and I can definitely speak to you one-on-one. That's not a problem. Hello to you too. Hello, just entering the conversation. Thank you so much for coming inside the closet. I'm in my 50s with no desire. No desire to have sex or no desire to get your prostate checked. Not really sure with no desire. Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it? And if so, how long? Well, you definitely want to use it. For men, as I mentioned, your pelvic floor starts to fall, and that is harder for you to get an erection. That's why, and believe it or not, male masturbators, toys or devices or self-care items are there as far as the number one bought toy as far as, male masturbators are the number one toy as far as those bought in the sex industry. So even if you decide to masturbate, you need to definitely use it so that you don't lose it. And if you don't use it, that deep dorsal vein that I talked about will take longer to get engorged. And if that takes longer to get engorged, then that's going to take you longer to have an erection. Circulation is extremely important. As I mentioned, you start having the joint pains and things like that, but I knew pandemic. He just sat, didn't do a whole lot, couldn't get out and do the work that he wanted to do. He just sat a lot, and because he sat a lot, it took away his circulation, and it wasn't like he was a younger man. He was in his latter 60s, I'll say that. And he just sat to the point that he wasn't able to get erections, and he wasn't having sex, and he wasn't, pretty much thinking about it. And you were eating some of the wrong foods, and he realized, that, he wasn't getting aroused when he thought that he should have gotten aroused, even by sight, because men are visual. So that can remove that that erection from you, and if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Now, another thing, like I said, when we were in school, we studied CAT scan, and a person having an orgasm in a CAT scan showed that there were 30 active parts of the brain that lit up. And it was mainly where your long-term and short-term memory is. So when you have sex and it's pleasurable and you're able to have that orgasm, then you're actually helping yourself retain your memory a little bit longer. So that's good for you too. But with women, if you don't use those muscles that are in the vulva area, which is your vaginal cavity, if you don't use those muscles, and because, we bear children through those muscles, and the more children you bear, then of course those muscles are being stretched, and the sensation fades over time the more children that you have. Even with women who don't have children, and you have those areas in there that's built for women to have children, because that's one of the main functions of your body, then that area starts to deteriorate as well too over time, as far as the sponginess of it, the tightness of it. So it starts to fade. Now, when that starts to fade, then incontinence may set in a little bit earlier, where you can't wait to get to the bathroom. You got to hurry up, got to get there. You don't want to laugh, too hard or too fast or something like that. You might get a little, or you cough, and something may have happened, or something of that nature. So you want to use those muscles in there to keep them tight. As I mentioned before, for the guys, Kegels work well for the women as well, and you have to take out time to do it and focus on doing it. If you got alarms on your phone, if you set an alarm for 3 times a day, to just do Kegels for 1 minute, That will increase your sensitivity more so than not doing them at all. So it's just a little break that you can take, if you doing it in the morning, if you sitting on the toilet and you gotta, let yourself go in the morning, then just keep sitting there. Do some Kegels while you're sitting there. If you're a guy and you go and you're urinating in the morning and you've got it hard, and do the start and stop, so that you can control your erection that way, and it's not just like a limp muscle when that's happening. So urinate, stop, urinate, stop, urinate, stop, urinate, stop. That'll help you, as well as other exercises. If it's rec, see if you can make it go up and down. Learn to control your pelvic muscle. Then that way, when the floor act like it wants to drop, yours is a little bit tighter than what it was than if you weren't doing nothing at all. So if that makes sense. Hopefully that helped. All right. Thank you so much for the roses. I definitely appreciate it. I thank you. I hope this is good education for you. And if I said it before, it may not be for you. It could be for a loved one in your family. This is Prostate Awareness Month, and just let them know that, I was on TikTok talking about it, and make sure that they focus on getting theirs checked, or even checking into getting it checked. Like I said, there's 2 ways to do it. And you can do the blood test, or you can do the normal in the office glove, finger up the rectum test. Thank you for loving the education as well as the topic. Let's see, what did that say? I'm 65, hubby 58. I want it every day. That's good. And as long as you can continue to have sex at your age, is just keeping you healthy. As long as he can continue to have sex at his age, and 65 is healthy, and it's not an old person. So like I said, this person that's in their latter 60s was not exercising. They were just sitting. They were just stagnant. Muscles weren't moving. And then when it came time to wanting to use it, he had lost it. So like I said, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. Hello, beautiful. How was your day? Atlanta Latino here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm here inside my bedroom closet, and I've been to Atlanta several times, so thank you so much for joining me. The 2 roses, thank you for that. Does menopause mean that period stops? Menopause means that, yes, it should stop. It should stop for a period of 12 months. But if you get to 11 months and 15 days, and here it comes, you got to start over again, because it's got to be for a consistent year that it stops, rolling into like 13 months, and you haven't, seen anything. And that does not mean everybody goes through menopause the same way. I met a lady at the Corvette show, and you may have seen it in one of the clips from earlier, and she was in her latter 70s, and she said she had never had a hot flash, and had no hair loss, and bone density was still good. So it does not affect all women in all ways, just like menstrual cycles. I have a friend that had one for 1 day, exactly 1 day. So she didn't understand with the girls that had them for 3 days or 7 days. She thought maybe they should have went to the doctor. And, one day we were sitting around talking, and she said, no, it only lasts for 1 day. And I'm thinking, 1 day. So just like that's different, so is menopause. But yes, it has to stop for a period of 12 months, going on that 13th month. Thank you for stopping by, and I do want to be informative inside the bedroom closet. So if you guys have any questions, I could definitely answer those for you. Try to give information and education and answer some questions for you guys. And I don't stay on very, very, very long. Mondays are usually very busy for me, just to share a few things. This past weekend, I had a grandson that turned 1. So that was busy, family time. I didn't get on TikTok, spent a lot of time with my granddaughter. I just have the one and a sea of 3 grandsons. So she's got that extra special attitude that I like to just slay on her every time I get a chance. And then I've been in the studio. So I put a clip up today. I'm so excited. Been in the studio. I'll go back tomorrow. Getting some poetry to sound. I am working with a wonderful music producer. He is a Stella Award winner for gospel music, and he is a Grammy nominated producer. So how did I locate him? Well, my marketing manager and I got in contact with him. He's over in Illinois. So I'll be there tomorrow at the studio doing some more incredible work with him so that I can get some stuff to you soon. It'll be available on my website. I was going to go through iTunes, but it's so much traffic that way. I want to make it available on my website. So I'm working with my web developer on how to add the digital marketing, the digital clip to the site. And that way it's no shipping, handling, no other fees. It's just the music itself. So I'll have my book available on my site as far as a link to the book. That's coming out because I made some changes and I'm adding some stuff and I'm doing some writing, which I've got a commitment to do some writing tonight. And I try to get my meditation done before I go to bed as well. So, with the book, it'll be a link to my author on the site. So you'll be able to order it through the site. No shipping, handling. It'll come directly to you. So, yeah. But let's see if you guys have any other questions. Let's see. Do you go through menopause longer if you don't have or never had kids? No, doesn't make a difference. Menopause is menopause. It just, goes on your natural body cycle, as far as your menstrual cycle. Once that's stopped, then you go into a menopausal state when your body is not producing the eggs and things like that to have children. You still have the ability to have children. You just chose not to have children. And so yeah, when you go through menopause, it's basically about the same. It's a matter of your cycle stopping, because I have friends that have never had children and have flashes hot as a midsummer's day, so yeah, she goes through it just as well as a woman that's had multiple births. It's just a matter of your vaginal muscles, as far as not having children. That would be different from a woman that's had children. So, all right, let's see if you guys have any other questions before I let you go. Like I said, I got some writing to do tonight because I got to go into the studio tomorrow. You love poetry. Good. I do too. I have always loved poetry. I think I told a story on here the other night when I was in elementary school and I thought I was going to get in trouble for writing on the bulletin board when the teacher left the room. But I had wrote a beautiful poem, and I'll never forget that she told me how beautiful it was, and she talked about me continuing my writing, and I've been writing ever since. I love it. I love the way it makes me feel. I love where it takes me to when I'm reading it. So I write sensual poetry and poetry about love. I don't do any male bashing. Nothing like that. No female bashing. I uplift. I make you feel like you want to be in love, have been in love, want, all that good stuff. So I'm putting some of it to music, and I want it to be something that you can listen to over and over again. It's some meditative sounds. So he's doing some great stuff to incorporate everything that I'm looking for in the music with the poetry. So don't know. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it, and please tune in again. I am live inside the bedroom closet Monday, Wednesday, Friday, unless life happens and I can't make it, but I usually meet my commitments or I'll make up for it. So yeah, on Mondays we talk about sex. On Wednesdays we talk about love, and love centers around sex sometimes. And then on Fridays we talk about relationships. So we try to talk about some subjects to help your relationships, like we talked about conflict and love and conflict resolution and communication and relationships and setting expectations and boundaries and when you're dating, how to ask the right questions so you can get the right answers without being too intrusive, but you definitely want to know where people, what they think. And, one lady said, well, if I had to go on a first date, where would I go? I would go to a comedy show. And the reason why I say a comedy show is because you get to see the type of jokes that the person laughs at the most. Comedians are kind of, diverse. They talk about a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They dabble on sex, what type of sex. And if they cracking up, laughing, not really laugh, you kind of know. So I think a comedy show is a good way to, break the ice, where you don't have to worry about going to a movie where you're not talking to each other, or going to dinner where you're trying to talk and eat between your food, and your food may be good, but you may not get to it because you're trying to talk. But you can always go to a comedy show, and if you go and get something to eat later, you can eat between the laughs, because you can always regurgitate what you heard that may have been funny. And you can see where their mind and their head is, So, yep, that's a good idea for you if you were looking for somewhere to go on a date. So let's see. I think I saw a couple, never had a hot flash, but my goodness, the brain. Oh, yeah, the brain fog is no joke. And the hair shedding. Oh, my God. Yes, you can find your hair coming out in little patches and splots. And sometimes you get the hot flashes. Sometimes you don't. But, yeah, that brain fog sometimes settles in and you can't remember anything for crap's sake. You just can't. So let's see, 50 years old, 2 adult children, abstaining 10 years. Should I be concerned? Well, if you've abstained for 10 years, do you have the urge? If you have the sexual urge, I feel like you should have that need met, even if you meet it yourself. I understand abstaining. I understand those who choose to abstain for their religious beliefs, cultural beliefs, or just not being able to find someone after a loss, or just finding someone, period, that they want to share their body with because of, whatever reason. But we women were born with a clitoris, and it's a gift that was given to us for pleasure only. Some women don't feel comfortable touching themselves. Some people don't feel comfortable with using toys and things of that nature, and you want to be a little bit more discreet about it. But at the same token, you want to make sure that, our bodies were created for pleasure. We were born in acts of sex, and we were born to procreate. And even if we don't have or want or have a need to want to have children, our bodies were made for that reason. So when you are not using those vaginal muscles and releasing that fluids that our bodies produce from having sex, then you're restricting your muscles in that tissue. And gravity happens whether we want it to or not. We would love for our breasts to stay nice and perky for as long as possible. Some people get implants, some people get breast lifts, because of babies and nursing and all that other stuff. And yes, I do touch my breast often, but at any rate, gravity happens, and not just to breast. Your butt sag and all that's connected to your butt, and those tissues down there, they begin to sag too. So if you don't tighten the muscles that's in there by having an orgasm or not or, but having one. You know, it's going to definitely allow gravity to take its place a whole lot sooner than not. So that's the reason why they say if you don't use it, you will lose it. I'm glad you guys think that it's very helpful. I want to be educational to you. Is there such thing as menopause? There is, but the male version of menopause is called andropause. So andropause takes place in men around the same age that, you know, it takes place in women. It's when their libido starts to change. Their muscle mass starts to change. You know, they used to have pectoral muscles that were tight, you know, and, you know, as they get older, you know, sometimes they have little tiny man boobs, but not so much, you know, and then they sag maybe a little bit. They get the belly fat, or the muscles on their arms are not as profound as they used to be. They do start to lose their hair and become a little bald here. Like I said, their libido change, and they say, oh, men are having a midlife crisis because they go get a younger woman and make sure that they can still get it up, you know, and it's my relationship. I've been married too long. This is going on, that's going on, things are going wrong. I don't have the excitement, or this and that. And so they feel like, you know, their life is changing, you know, because things do happen to men just like they happen to women. So it's called andropause. It's not called menopause, but yeah. So same type of deal. Let's see. Let's see. Not much. What's up with you tonight? What's going on? As we were talking about the prostate. We were talking about the prostate. Just got a few bracelets on that my kids get me, and some places that I've gotten. Got these when I went to Hawaii long time ago, these beads here. So some of them I get from my children, and in other places as far as gifts, and from my grandchildren for different birthday presents and things like that. So I like bracelets. I like a necklace, but I can only wear like a really thin necklace because I don't like to feel the chain on my neck like something's crawling on me. So I just wear a single little floating little diamond that I got. And then on this wrist, I have one bracelet that got this from the Gucci store, one of the first things that I bought. So I've had this for a very long time, very, very long time. Probably need to clean it because I never take it off. But yeah, those are my bracelets. But so yeah, so hopefully I was able to answer some of you guys' questions. Let's see. Listen. Keep the beats. You want the Corvette? You know what? And I'm going to tell you about the Corvette. I just picked her up from the shop today, as a matter of fact. Went and got some new rims and some brand new tires, and got it all buffed and ready to winterize. I've got about another month or so that I can tool around town and have a good time in it. So I definitely enjoy the Corvette. I was thinking about getting a newer one, but I love a vintage car. I have to have an old school. I used to have an 87 Jaguar. It was a Van den Plas, had 2 gas tanks. Beautiful car. But they have such an electrical tantrum that it's almost hard to afford the car. So I love my Corvette, and she's good. She's 94, and she's got only about 90,000 miles on it, so, or less. Don't drive it a whole lot, but like to keep it nice and preserved. So I got her some new rims, factory rims, and some new tires. So yep, did that. That was nice and hefty. So I picked her up today, as a matter of fact. So, yeah. Maintaining a healthy prostate. First time from Jamaica. I've been to Jamaica several times. Love Jamaica. Love Jamaica. Went to, I think it was the Harley Davidson store. You know, when you come in on because I was on a cruise. So you come in on the cruise ship and you get off the ship and then you walk past this area where this guy was making these hats, I think out of maybe banana leaves or something like that, but these nice sun hats. So he had those, and then you walk down a little bit further, and they were cooking the food out here, some jerk chicken, I think just local vendors. And then you cross the street and there was the Harley Davidson store. So I went to the Harley Davidson store in Jamaica, and then we walked down a little bit further, and then you have all the local vendors and the food. And then these ladies, I don't know if they had something in their bottoms or their butts or what, but they were doing this dance to this drum beat, but their butts were so big. But that was amazing to see because they were just, it was beautiful. They were doing this dance. So I love Jamaica. So hello in Jamaica. So how can I maintain a healthy prostate? I'll put some clips up on the TikTok. I can put 3-minute clips up, but we talked about making sure you focus on your diet. If you're a juicer, you know, juice and juice those green leafy vegetables. You want to focus on spinach and kale and your green beans and things like that. Remove the red meat and the dairy, you know, from your diet. So focusing on your alcohol intake and your smoke intake. Get your prostate checked, you know, at a reasonable age, like 50. And if it's good when you get it checked and you need to make changes to your diet, do that in order to continue to have a healthy prostate. But that's what we were talking about tonight. So yeah, and that's all I've got for you. I want to get some writing done before the end of the night. Got some good snacks. You know, I'm a chipper, so I love my chips. And I got my chips and my dip set up for when I'm writing. I can, you know, eat my little snacks, but I'll do that. And in the closet on Wednesday nights, we're going to talk about something relative to love. And if you have anything that you'd like for me to discuss or you want to reach me, I'm at insidemybedroomcloset@gmail.com. My website is www.insidemybedroomcloset.com. And I want you guys to like, share, and follow. I need your likes. I need your shares. I need your follows. I'll put some clips up for you on the live tonight. But until the next time we meet, thank you guys so much for coming inside my bedroom closet. And we'll talk again later. Have a good night.